Well, this was definitely the most surprising move of the day, not just in Foxborough, but maybe around the NFL. The Patriots are releasing backup quarterback Bailey Zappe. The team is hopeful that he will clear waivers and they will be able to re-sign him to the practice squad. But for now, the future of last year's fourth-round pick is in limbo. Along with Zappe, the Patriots are also cutting rookie Malik Cunningham, who got reps at both quarterback and wide receiver during the preseason. Now, like Zappe, the Patriots are hopeful they'll be able to bring Cunningham back on the practice squad as well. Here is Matthew Slater's reaction to Zappe getting cut.
I guess I've learned to expect the unexpected. You just worry about the things that you can control. You keep your head down. Hope you do a good enough job and you support your teammates. Certainly something like that is, I guess, surprising for a lot of us, but that's just kind of the nature of the business. I know he'll land on his feet and do a great job. And I also trust that, coach is always doing what's in the best interest of the football team and put us in the best position to have success. So, mixed emotions on that, but I love Bailey. He knows how I feel about him. He's one of my favorite kids all time.
Well, this is the Patriots quarterback room. A little lonely. Yep, there he is, Mac Jones, all by himself. So what is the next shoe to drop for the Patriots at the position? Welcome into our Arbella Early Edition. I am Trenni Casey. I've got our Patriots insiders, Tommy Curran in studio. Phil Perry's down in Foxborough. QB's Albert Breer is here with us as well. I'll just go around the circle here. I have to admit I was shocked when I saw that Bailey Zappe had been waived. I'm assuming they're going to make some sort of move at quarterback, but I'm trying hard to wrap my brain around exactly what Bill Belichick is thinking.
After Thursday night's game, we posited at length afterwards that he's not good enough to be the backup this year. He's not playing well enough to be a heartbeat from that position. But I never thought that he would be released because he had that much upside. Again, though, the caveat, does anybody want him around the league? And he will return here if the answer to that is no.
I mean, I think you'd have to play pretty poorly to give up on a guy this is a position where backups make $5 or $6 million a year, like quality backups. So if you thought it was really important to keep him on the roster, to even develop him into a quality backup, I think it'd be worth your while to carry him, which shows how far he slipped. And I think the one thing we can't forget here is this is a different offense he's running. Like last year, and look, like we can relitigate the Patricia Judge thing till we're blue in the face, but it was a simpler offense, and it was more of a spread offense, and it was more akin to what he was doing in college. Now you're seeing how he fits into a more traditional NFL offense with what Bill O'Brien's brought to the table. And I think it's been pretty clear from the start, and Tom, you were down there every day, that Mac Jones was just a much better fit for that than Zappe was.
Phil, I think everybody was surprised by this. I know in your projected 53-man roster, you had two quarterbacks remaining on the roster in Mac Jones and Bailey Zappe. I think the question now becomes, does Bailey Zappe clear waivers, or are the Patriots in danger of losing him to another team and getting nothing in return?
Well, you have to be comfortable with losing him and getting nothing in return by releasing him in the first place. So the worst case scenario is Bailey Zappe gets claimed, Malik Cunningham gets claimed, and it's Mac Jones and quarterback X who is his backup and is somebody who maybe has never been in the system, has maybe never played for Bill O'Brien or Bill Belichick. Maybe it's Trace McSorley, although I would say that's not a best case scenario either, given what we saw from him this summer. And to me, it is remarkable that you are very close to week one now. And we know what the problems are on the offensive line. And we know there is a non-0% chance that Mac Jones ends up getting battered behind that offensive line by a very good defensive line that the Philadelphia Eagles will bring here to Foxborough, and you don't have a backup quarterback. Again, this could be moot if Bailey Zappe and or Malik Cunningham return, but it's not the position you want to be in if you're the New England Patriots.
To me, Malik Cunningham is miles away from being able to be forced into regular duty for a team and throw the ball more than 10 times. It's just, you can't do that. So the team has to be crossing its fingers that Bailey Zappe clears waivers and is back on the practice squad, and then they do their Saturday night machinations in which Bailey Zappe gets elevated and somebody else gets moved down. But to me, it's an uncomfortable spot for them in that they know that nobody else is going to want him. And as Phil pointed out, you're comfortable with the idea of losing him. Now, we can get into all the options that you have out there to replace and to have somebody a heartbeat away from starting. But, it says a lot about not just Zappe, but the draft last year, that so many of the players the Patriots spent picks on are discards.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in our next block. But sticking with Bailey Zappe, Malik Cunningham being on the practice squad, and Phil brought it up, Bert, the fact that this offensive line, I mean, you could find Mac Jones could hurt himself again. He could miss time. So what are their options? Where do let's just play for argument's sake that Bailey Zappe, I mean, if Malik Cunningham gets through waivers, which I think we expect that he will, but he's still, Tom, as you pointed out, not ready to go. But let's say Bailey Zappe does get claimed by another team. Where do they go?
Yeah, and I think that's possible just because, again, backups cost.
But you have to put him on the roster.
Right, and that's hard. And this time of year, that's hard because you just set your roster, which means you've got to get rid of somebody who made your team to put him on the roster. So I think there is a chance he gets through. Okay. There's also a chance he gets claimed. I'd say that's 50-50. As for names, I mean, I think now you probably shift what you're looking for at the position in a backup, which it was developmental with these two guys, with Zappe and Cunningham on there. Now maybe you look at somebody who's going to be more of a resource to Mac Jones and somebody who can come in and be a better pinch hitter. That's the other bucket you can look at. And I can tell you, a lot of young quarterbacks really benefit from having a guy like that around. I think Mac Jones would tell you he benefited from having Brian Hoyer around. And so, the way I look at it, Colt McCoy is somebody who could be eventually the answer. He's got a little bit of an elbow issue right now. He's still got to work that out with the Cardinals. But he's somebody who came in the league. The first team he played for was coached by Eric Mangini with Brian Daboll as the offensive coordinator. So he has some background in the system. He's played in the league for 14 years.
He's not horrible.
And he's not a horrible quarterback. He's a guy who can come in, and if you need him to play for a quarter, for a couple of games, he can do that for you.
I think he's better than Brian Hoyer. Phil, I know we want to keep him incorporated too. I wonder what Phil's input is on the situation with Hoyer. The Patriots definitely released him in part because of the injury, but I think they were also irked and took a major financial hit because they didn't think Hoyer was necessarily on board last year either. Hoyer would be a handy guy to have around.
He would be, although, he has his limitations as well and wasn't able to do the backup quarterback thing last year. Again, behind a shaky offensive line, ends up getting hurt almost immediately. I would be looking at trade possibilities here, guys, because I don't think there's going to be anybody that's that capable who's just floating around and available to the level that they want. So I would be looking at, say, in Houston, call up Nick Caserio and say, what do you want for your third-string quarterback, Case Keenum? That's the kind of deal that, in my opinion, they should be trying to swing right now.